guys, welcome back for another video. We got a fun one prepared today. It is never too early to start looking at the 2025 college football season and trying to get our early prediction and breakdowns for each of these college football teams. First things first, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments that you agree, disagree, drop them below and I will respond to every single comment. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be looking at our 2025 Miami Hurricanes team, the roster, the schedule, trying to predict which games they could potentially win, lose, what their final record's going to be, but basically what the outcome is going to be for the 2025 college football year for our Miami Hurricanes. Now, the Miami Hurricanes, you guys have a rabid fan base. There was a lot of anticipation building up to last season. The 2024 Miami Hurricanes team was an exciting team. They have who's probably going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft, a altering type quarterback, the guy who had the best single statistic college football quarterback season in Miami Hurricanes history. Cam Ward lit things up, completely changed this team. That defense was so bad last year. Without Cam Ward, they might have been a 6-7 win team, but he carried them to the pinnacle, to almost reaching the college football championship as well as an ACC championship, but they just barely missed it, all due to that defense. But Cam Ward, Dawson, you showed what this team is capable of. The talent has always been there. They just needed a quarterback who could lead them to basically achieving what we always knew they could do. But looking at this team here, guys, we have our 25 schedule up there on the board. We have the games with a yellow star. Those are the toss-up games, the Vegas close pick-em type games. And then you have the blue stars. That's every game that, as of right now, they are favored to win. And we do see them winning in our early prediction. And then we have the red star. That's the games that they're predicted to lose by Vegas. That's the underdog games. You'll notice on the Miami schedule, I do not see any games where they will be coming into that game as the underdog. That's not the case for most teams, but looking at this Miami schedule, they had a very easy 24 schedule. Their 25 schedule, it's not difficult, but it's not as easy as it was last year, but still, I see the talent on this Miami Hurricanes roster is more than capable of winning all of these games, at least winning 10 games. How many games do they need to win to potentially get to the ACC championship and potentially make where they missed last season, make that final 12, make that college football playoff? As of right now, though, the top 4 pass catchers for the Hurricanes, they're all gone. They're all off the NFL. Restrepo, George, Horton, Arroyo, all those guys are lost. There's massive production that has to be replaced on the offensive side. Damian Martinez, gone. But they still have a very deep roster. They had the number 1 offense in all of college football last year, and it wasn't even close. They finished 43.1 points a game. The next closest team was Indiana at 40.7. So there was almost 3 points per game difference between them and number 2. This team was dominating. But what really makes the difference here is they do not need the number 1 offense in order to have success this season. They just need a top 20 offense because they had a 75th ranked defense in the entire country last season. It's the defense that held this team back. Cam Ward and company, you did everything you possibly could to win every game, but every game was a shootout because the defense could not stop Molasses, number 75 in the country, second to last in the ACC in conference play, giving up 33.1 points per game on the defensive side. The defense was awful. Mainly the secondary and that front 7. It took too long for them to get pressure. It took too long for their plays to get to the quarterback. But as of right now, Mario Cristobal, he's made the changes that were necessary in order to take this team to the next level. He got rid of Guidry. Sorry, Guidry fans, Guidry had to go. He was not. His play calls took way too long to develop when it came to pressuring quarterbacks. He's bringing in Heatherman from Minnesota. It's going to be a lot more of a simple defense. I can liken it potentially to the Manny Diaz defense that we used to see back when he was the defensive coordinator. He can use the talent that's on this front 7. They've completely changed the secondary. They only have 1 starter coming back on the secondary, Frederic. Everyone else is highly ranked transfer players, recruits out of high school. We're going to have a new secondary. We're going to have a front 7 that can get after it. Bain, Basaint. There's going to be guys there who can get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And you know Shannon Dawson, he's going to use the talent on this offense. They don't need the number 1 offense. Like I said, you have Carson Beck transferring in. Yes, he's not going to be able to play spring ball. He's not going to be able to learn with his teammates in the spring, but he's an experienced veteran quarterback. And Shannon Dawson's defense is his offense is very simple, and he adapts it to the skill, to the talent he has on this team. You don't need the Cam Ward type offense. You don't need him to throw for 45 touchdowns. You don't need 6 picks. You don't need 4,500 yards. Technically, you only need this season out of Carson Beck, I'd say 33 touchdowns, 10 picks, and somewhere in that 35 to 3,800 yards, because Miami's going to run the ball a lot more. They had a top 10 offensive line last season in sacks, quarterback pressures. They're going to have a top 10 offensive line this season. That's one thing Carson Beck did not have at Georgia last season. That offensive line is going to protect him. It's going to buy him time. Carson Beck, one of the most accurate quarterbacks, over 70% completion percentage on the play action. Miami's going to lean on that line. They're going to run. When you run the ball successfully, Miami averaged 175 yards a game last season. Look for them to try to up that to about 200 to 215 yards per game. Dominate time of possession. Slow the game down. Miami scored so quickly last season, but they had to because the defense was getting gashed. As long as the defense plays a little better, the offense will be able to control that time of clock, set the pace for the game. Lean on the opposing front seven, run, play action, run, dominate that way, wear them out, own the second half. Miami's more than capable of doing that. Look for Fletcher, Allen. Those guys are going to have big seasons on the ground. You got the new crop of wide receivers and tight ends coming in. You have Lofton, you have JoJo Trader, you have Daniels coming over from LSU. This team's going to get after it, and they're probably going to be shopping for another wide receiver in the spring transfer portal window. But let's look at this schedule, guys. The very first one, right off the bat, we have Notre Dame coming in here. Notre Dame. Obviously, this is the toughest game of the season to me. Tougher than the Florida game because Notre Dame finished last season number 2, runner-up to the national championship. They get after it. This is a very talented team. They have a lot of promise, but the big thing is they lost a lot of pieces from last season. They lost Leonard at the quarterback position. They don't have a starting quarterback as of right now. Could be Angeli, could be Carr. We don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback. A lot of unknowns here, but this game is in Miami. We know what happened the last time Miami played Notre Dame in Miami. Miami curb stomped the Irish. I'm not saying they're going to curb stomp them here, but you'll notice I have this game marked as a toss-up. I could see this going either way. This isn't the Notre Dame team from last season. Out of your first 4 games, the toughest 2, Notre Dame, Florida. You at least have to split it. You don't want to drop both of those. Thankfully for you, though, they're both out-of-conference games. They don't affect your ability to make the ACC championship, but they will affect your ranking and your recruiting. Mark Cristobal knows how to build a good roster, knows how to recruit, knows how to work the portal. But if you beat Notre Dame, that's going to give you so much momentum starting out the season, and it's out-of-conference, sets you up perfectly. This game's a toss-up here. I see it as a 50-50 as of right now. You have to respect Freeman and Notre Dame, their run game and their defense. We know they're going to have a top 10, top 5 defense. But Miami, if you can control this line of scrimmage, you can win this game. Carson Beck, first game out the gate, has to have a good game, has to help the Miami Hurricanes win this one. Then you have Bethune-Cookman. Obviously, that's going to be a win. South Florida, look for Miami to win that. That's where you go into the Florida game potentially 3-0, or you could be 2-1. Obviously, you don't want to take the chance of being 2-1 and then dropping this one to Florida. You want that momentum after the Notre Dame game. The Florida game, it's going to be in Miami. Last season, they went to Gainesville. They beat the crap out of the Gators in Gainesville. But this is a much improved Gators team. Billy Napier had this team rolling second half of last season, but it's a new season now. Can he continue that momentum into the 25 season? They have DJ Lagway. A lot of praise for him, but I'm sorry, guys. If it's Lagway or Beck, I think most people are going to put their money on Beck. It's in Miami. But this is one of those games that's a toss-up. This is an in-state rivalry game. Anything can happen. It's going to be a very competitive game. But like I said, Miami, you have to at least split these games. The Florida, the Notre Dame game, you at least have to be 3-1 going into the bye. Miami really got screwed with their bye weeks. They have won the 5th week. They have won the 7th week. 2 out of 3 weeks that early in the season. Really bad. Miami usually plays a bad second half every season, and they have no bye weeks now, so they're going to be a little wore out. And then you have Florida State. Florida State is going to be much improved over last season. They only went 2-10 last year. They can't get any worse. They will be better than that. They've been working the portal, but Miami is the more talented roster. I do have them beating Florida State this year. Then for some dumb reason, the ACC screwed Miami with another bye week. And then you have Louisville. I have that as of right now as a toss-up. I do respect Jeff Brom, one of the best play callers offensively in college football, because he adapts his play calling to the skill set on the roster. He has Isaac Brown, one of the best running backs in the ACC, 1,200 yards last season, 11 touchdowns. You have Miller Moss coming in from USC. This guy knows how to play. He's a big-time quarterback. He's going to work wonders with Louisville because they're going to use him the way that he needs to be used. It's a toss-up game. The one last season was a shootout. I think Miami's more than capable of winning this. It is going to be at home, but I think there's going to be some points scored. Whenever you have a high-scoring game, it always comes down to just whoever has the ball last. Then you have Stanford. Miami should win that. SMU, Jennings and company, Rhett Lashley, they know how to play Miami. This is their first time playing Rhett Lashley since he left Miami as the offensive coordinator. SMU made the playoffs this past season, lost a lot of playmakers, but he knows how to work the portal. He's taken a lot of Miami players, moved them over to SMU, and built a very talented team. I've been saying for many years, do not disrespect SMU. They showed last season, first year in the ACC, went to the ACC championship, made the playoffs. You got to give them some props. This is going to be a toss-up game. It is in Texas. SMU, they're going to have a top 30 defense. They're going to have a top 20 offense. They're going to have a run game. They're going to have a great quarterback. They're going to have a mobile quarterback. And they're going to have a lot of ex-Miami players. So it's going to be personal on both sides, but this is an ACC matchup. It's one you cannot afford to drop, but if you beat Notre Dame and Florida, you technically can afford this game because it could be potentially your only in-conference loss. And then you have Syracuse. Kyle McCord, gone, led college football in passing. Cam Ward was second. A lot of those pass catchers, one of the best wide receiver corps in the nation last season. All those guys are gone. Yes, you're going to be bringing in some new talent, but Miami should be able to get some revenge. This game's going to be personal. They're going to want revenge from the way that last season's game ended. Then you have NC State. NC State's one of those teams, started out last season, a lot of promise, ranked top 25, then they completely fell off the rails. But when you have an NC State team that's coached well, they're usually physical, they usually have a very good defense, you never want to sleep on them. They had the promise of making the ACC championship last season. They faltered there right out of the gate, but it's one that you want to keep your eye on, but I do have them winning that, and they are favored. Then you have Virginia Tech. Drones and company, very talented team, but just like NC State, a lot of promise going into last season, did not live up to expectations. You want to respect them. They usually always play Miami close. It's in Blacksburg, very tough place to play, especially if it's at night. And you got to watch Miami's second half of seasons. That's usually when they slip up. But as of right now, to me, you still have to favor them. And then you have Pitt. Pitt, one of the best offenses passing-wise in all of college football last season. A top 10 passing offense, a top 20 offense overall. Miami always struggles playing Pitt, especially when it's the last game of the season. We know how that usually ends. Miami gets upset. Miami, as of right now, with the way the schedule lines up, they have a potential ACC championship on the line. Could come down to this Pitt game. You got to make sure to finish the season strong. Miami has not been able to do that in a long time. I have it as a toss-up, just you have to respect Pac history. Miami usually falters at the very end. They did it last season. They do it every season for some reason. But perhaps this is a season where they get over that hump. They beat Pitt to end the season, and they set themselves up for that ACC championship game, which is probably going to be versus Clemson, who they didn't play during the regular season. And Miami can match Clemson talent-wise at every single position. Guys, that's just a quick breakdown, a way too early look at our Miami Hurricane schedule. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.